my name is Elizabeth Brown, and this is my audition video for the next Food Network star. For as long as I can remember, I have been wanting to be on this show, actually, for as long as it's been around. This is my 9th time trying. I've been cooking my whole life since I was 8, and I've always been interested in learning to cook healthy. So when I became an adult at the age of 18, I went to school to become a dietitian. And I'm going to make for you one of my favorite recipes. These are black bean brownies. So to make them, you put basically 2 cans of black beans, or the equivalent of about 3 cups black beans, including the liquid, into a food processor. So growing up, I wasn't always a healthy eater. I actually ate whatever came in front of me, but I struggled with my weight, and so I really wanted to learn how to cook healthy. So when you go to school to become a dietitian, ironically, you don't learn how to cook healthy. You just learn a lot about nutrition. So after I finished my degree in nutrition and did my registered dietitian training, I then got my master's degree, and then I went to culinary school at a holistic culinary school in California, and that's where I live now. I'm from Pennsylvania originally, went to Penn State. Now I'm going to add a cup of sucanat. So the reason I use beans in my recipe is that, first of all, I'm gluten intolerant, so I can't eat pretty much most of the flours that we use in traditional baking, but I can use some flours. But I found out about this recipe where they used beans in addition to a boxed mix, and I thought, why can't we just use beans for the whole recipe? So I'm also using cocoa, and I use non-alkalized cocoa. So it's not processed, and you get more antioxidants out of it. It's got to be non-Dutch cocoa. That's a cup of cocoa, a cup of sucanat, and sucanat is basically like the cane juice that's been dehydrated, so it's the purest form of sugar. It's got more nutrition in it, more vitamins, more antioxidants. It's got the regular molasses that we would normally strip away from the sugar. Now I'm adding 6 eggs. Now these are pasture-raised eggs, and I have learned while I was working on an article for Oxygen magazine, I was writing an article about eggs and all the health benefits of eggs, and made a dozen recipes with eggs. And I learned that there really is a big difference between pasture-raised and even free-range and, you know, conventional organic eggs. And you can tell, I should have showed you, those were very yellow yolks. But I just bought a typical organic egg that, you know, seems like it would be healthy. And if you can see, the yolk is very not yellow. When you have pasture-raised eggs, you get significantly more lutein and zeaxanthin, which makes them that bright yellow color. And you get 70% more B12 than you get in regular eggs. You get 64% more vitamin D. You get up to 13 times more omega-3s because those chickens are eating grass, so they're eating their natural diet, and they're getting the omega-3s from the grass that we can actually get when we eat leafy greens, not just from fish. That was a tablespoon of vanilla extract, and now I'm adding 2 teaspoons of baking soda and a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. So in culinary school, I also learned about sea salt, but most people are kind of hip to that now because there tends to be more minerals in your sea salt. I also used boxed black beans instead of canned, because the one thing you have to be concerned with canned beans is that you have BPA, which is a type of chemical that leaches from the canning into the food and has been linked to certain types of cancers, especially hormonal type cancers. Now I'm using chocolate chips and peanut butter chips. It's a cup total, so I'm going to put half in the mix and then half on top of the brownie when I put them in the pan, because I like that consistency of having them on top. So then all we do with this is just blend everything in the food processor. And when it's done, I'm going to spray a baking sheet, or not a baking sheet, but a baking pan. I usually use a bigger baking pan for this, but the one I already have prepared, I've used that one. Spray it, cooking spray, pour the mix in there. Make sure your oven's set at 350. And you bake these for 45 minutes. Now you'll get a really moist consistency, moister than you would think it should be, but I think it turns out better. That's why I don't drain the liquid. So I can put what I have in this and then maybe use another small pan for the rest of it, and then just layer it with some of the extra chips. And as I said, I already have some prepared. Just kind of spread them on top. And obviously my oven is cool because these were already cooked. These make wonderful brownies, and usually if you don't tell people that they're black beans, they won't even know. So it depends on your audience. If you know somebody that's interested in something healthy, you can say, hey, these are made with all black beans. If you know that somebody would be turned off by that, you might not tell them, see what their reaction is, and then get them to try it, and then tell them that they're made from black beans. So black beans, aside from being gluten-free, are also very high in minerals, magnesium, potassium, manganese, zinc, things that you don't get from most of your flours, and things that are very important to your body's own defense system. So that's why I'm so thrilled to share this recipe with you, and I hope to see you on the Food Network.